Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our beautiful intimate conversation viewers out there around the globe. I hope you're all finding these big waves of energy that we've been going through okay for you, and taking rest when you need to. Obviously, that's a really important thing to be doing for ourselves. So another guest on this beautiful series of intimate conversation, and today we have Heidi Turner. So welcome, Heidi, and thank you
Thank
for coming
you.
along.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks, Mandy.
I'm excited to have you here. You're so busy at this moment in time too, and I really appreciate that
I
you've
am.
managed to fit us in. It's like, wow. And we'll get into all of that busy in a second.
Yep.
I'll just read your intro here so that we can get people to, find out about you a bit more for those who don't. But Heidi is an artist, creator, sound alchemist, coach, guide, and mentor, as well as a practitioner of Kahuna Bodywork and teacher of Kahuna Arts. Trained in counselling and psychotherapy, Heidi has had many experiences working with and in groups facilitating and holding space. Her earlier life's regular experiences of journeying out of her body, as well as time spent with incredible teachers, have enhanced her intuitive knowing and access to many different realms. A mother and grandmother, she brings a great capacity of safety and nurturing. It is Heidi's desire to facilitate many souls' return to knowing the full magnificence of self and to fully shine. Living in the Taranaki region, Heidi enjoys nature, creating, singing, the ocean, and precious, joyful time with loved ones. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll get into all of your art stuff in a moment, because you're actually sitting in your studio, which is
Yes.
it's live studio today as
It's
well.
a
So
live studio, yes.
we might have people coming through. So we'll deal with that.
I've shut the door. I have shut the door, and it has been quite quiet, to be fair, this week. So
Okay, we should be
yeah,
right. Cool.
hopefully.
So, Heidi, the first question I love to ask every guest is: were you an aware, awake child, do you think, when you were a child, when you were little? And how did, if so, like, how did that impact the family? If not, what was your family dynamics like, and how did you get to where you are today?
Mm. Yeah, that's such an interesting question, and I haven't had that asked me before. Um, I did have an interesting childhood. To be honest, I don't recall a lot of my really early years
Mhm.
because I had a lifetime of epilepsy that started when I was 8 years old. Um, I do recall feeling and being aware of the land and being aware of feelings, like really being able to feel a lot of energetic feelings in my field.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when I started having my seizures from the age of 8, that kind of was, whew, I guess it was many years of experimental medications and things like that to stop me seizuring. So it was just a random seizure, and I remember it vividly. Because I felt like, so it's really interesting, I felt like I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um, and apparently I was still upright and conscious, and I could hear my mother's voice calling me. But I couldn't answer because I wasn't able to. Yeah. So I remember that vividly. And so then that was the beginning from 8 till about, wow, right through my childhood, teens, early 20s,
Wow.
very regular seizures. And they were like seizures that completely took me out, completely unconscious, complete body, full body seizuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, very intense. So,
Wow, that would have been intense.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I guess as far as that affected my family, I suppose, there were things I wasn't allowed to do, like horse riding and stuff like that. My parents always thought it was too dangerous. and in case I had a seizure or something.
Yeah.
But I guess we had a normal life, you know. I don't know that it affected my family. We all affected each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. As it goes.
Um, yeah, yeah. It was we just did what we did. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so sort of out of when you were out of body, were you obviously you were aware you were out of body in
I
a
was at
sense.
that period. Yeah.
As you got older, did you notice things like an awareness that was with you and
Yeah.
knowing, like, I don't know, did you have premonition stuff going on when you were out there?
Actually, the last series of seizures I had, which was like 12 years ago, so I haven't had any since then, I kind of did have a little premonition thing, and that was just like I could feel the electrical current in my brain, and I was like, oh, that feels a bit weird. But I didn't know I was about to have a seizure. I've
Right.
never known that. I just go. However, it's a really interesting thing before, from people that have observed me, before I have gone into seizure activity, I make sound, which
Ah,
is really interesting. So,
yeah.
like, it might be very, very intense sound too, and I can demonstrate slightly, but I won't go to the capacity. But I might just go, "Ah," and just suddenly make sound, and then go into seizure.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really interesting. And then the other thing, I've never been conscious within the unconscious, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah,
When
yeah.
I'm out there, this vessel, this mind doesn't know what's going on. But when I've come back from my seizure activities,
Yeah.
I have had very, very productive, creative periods. So
Right.
that was kind of how mandalas started coming through me, was after seizure activity. Yeah.
Wow. I was going to ask that. I was going to ask
Yeah.
if you felt it was a pathway in, you were, opening, maybe a
Yeah.
channeling and opening a channel somehow. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So kind of gaining that awareness of the fact that after seizures I would produce a lot of artwork
Mm,
made me realize that I wasn't actually producing artwork beforehand. Okay. So
right.
um, that kind of led me, and this was through the guidance of my Kahuna teacher as well, kind of led me to the awareness that perhaps the channel was being blocked because I wasn't being creative. And so
Yes.
that channel would get blocked. And then it was almost like those seizures were a way in which to burst through the channel,
Yeah, yeah. Clear
and
it out.
bring through what was wanting to come through. Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
that's out of it.
Yeah, that is out of it, eh?
I know it is. It really is. I can get
Yeah.
it though. I had
Mm.
a water leak, funny
Oh,
little
yes.
thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
what they did to find it, because it was a concrete floored house, had a
Mm.
concrete floor. So um, they sent a vibration up the pipes to find where the thing was, the block.
Oh, cool.
Or the
Yeah.
leak, rather, in that
Yes.
respect. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's just sort of what it felt, when you were saying that, that's what it sort of reminded me of, was that.
Yes. Yeah. And
So,
isn't
yeah, I
that
get that.
interesting?
Mm,
And when you say that too, that actually really piques my interest more as far as the making sound before
yes.
before I go into seizure, because it's like that sound is bursting through the channel or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
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 Um,
So when did they stop? Around your 20s?
no, actually, I'm 55, giving away secrets here. So
Yeah.
probably about 40, mid 40s. Yeah.
Wow.
Early
Okay.
40s, early 40s. Yeah. Was my last.
Gosh. And
Yeah.
in respect to that, like, had you, I mean, you would have been more aware of who you were and what you are and all of this,
Yeah. Yeah.
your consciousness.
Mm.
Do you think that is what maybe has, they've subsided now because you haven't got the blocks? Do you think you're like more open to who you are, what you're up to, what your creativity
Possibly.
is?
It's possible. It is, yeah, way possible, because I do
Yeah.
create a lot more now than I used to.
Yes.
Um, and but it also could, from a scientific medical point of view, could be to do with the hormones, and that my hormonal, my whole hormonal um,
Yeah.
system has changed now that I'm an older woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So hard to say,
Yeah.
really. But again, through the guidance and awareness of my Kahuna teacher, she was like, it was these kind of individuals that would have these episodes, um,
Yeah.
that would have been like the shaman of the village, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. No, that's
um,
really cool.
yeah. So,
Yes, it's a cool thing. It wouldn't have probably been at times for you going through it.
oh
You
no,
know?
no, not cool at all.
So
Not at all
yeah, for
cool.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I'm actually, I do feel like it might be a part of that facility, that assists my access to
Yes.
many realms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's really cool. So
yeah,
your Kahuna teaching and training, where
yeah,
did you do that? Was that in New Zealand or did you go to
yeah.
yeah?
It actually was. Yeah, so I had this so I was down in Nelson, right, and I was studying counselling and psychotherapy. And I'd just done like 5 years study down there, and then I had this I've got good stories. I
Yeah,
had this
cool.
this thing that happened. It was a not my issue, but I was friends with someone who had some bad fortune visit him, and I happened to be with him when the bad fortune visited him.
Right.
Um, and that particular incident, when yeah, so he got assaulted, basically. He got assaulted. He had to
Okay.
come and stay with me because he had nowhere to live. And because he came to stay with me, the people that had assaulted him then started to kind of bring their trouble around my home.
Right. Yeah.
And that came to a head one day. And this was actually a really interesting thing that happened, because they high speed chased us. They high speed chased us in their vehicle. They were at the top of my driveway when I was leaving to go to get my children, and they high speed chased us. And that was really interesting to me, because I just went into automatic mode. My adrenaline kicked in and my body automatically acted, and
Yeah.
it knew exactly where to drive and how to drive. Um, I went through two red lights through the middle of town, middle of a city.
Wow.
Um, round, anyway, U-bends, ended up, my car took me to the police station and they dropped off. So that was the beginning of getting catapulted out of where we lived, because it was too dangerous to stay there if we were going to testify against these people, and we had to leave town.
Right.
That was how I ended up in the Coromandel, which is where I met my teacher. And so she, Erin Kumu Lees, is she had spent 7 years living with the Kahuna on the Hawaiian Islands. And
Okay.
then together and with other students, they had brought the all the learnings, the trainings out of Hawaii back in the end of the 80s,
Yeah.
and gone around Europe and Australasia and the United States. So she was living in the Coromandel, where I went, and within the first 3 months of moving there, I ended up in her home going to regular meditations, and it was just from there that I ended up attending pretty much all of her workshops for
Yeah.
about 16 or 18 years. So I ended up, learning the Hawaiian bodywork and many really amazing Kahuna exercises, as well as other cultures, because she had not only lived and trained with her kahuna, she had also lived with a guru, or trained with a guru in the California area. So she had kind of few different cultural modalities woven through her, as well as a Chinese, Chinese medicine man and a Native American.
Wow.
Yeah, so I learnt a lot of things about the world, the universe, the truth of life
Yeah.
from her. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful. And you
yeah,
teach that, Heidi, at all? Like you
yeah.
teach it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I now teach the lure. So the lure is what really spoke to my body. I've been a very mental mind person and think a lot.
Yeah.
And when I got into the lure, which is it's a Hawaiian warrior art, so it's like a martial art, but we practice it with a staff or a koa koa koloa, and it's actually a contact art.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so there are many different walks and obviously connections and movements, but the whole basis of the art really is to get to know the self much more, and
Yes.
especially in relationship to the environment.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Oh,
learning to observe what's moving in the environment around you, and let that like inform you um, as to how to move yourself. Yeah.
yes. Yes. I get that
Um,
so much. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
That's
I teach that on the beach. Yeah. Um,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. I so get that. Yeah, totally get it. And when it's like that, it's coming into that real oneness with the elements, with everything in there, the environment,
Mm,
like you say.
mm.
It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Really letting it inform you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, your art, Heidi, I
Yeah.
just love what you're doing. Love, love, love your stuff. It's
Thank
really, really
you.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's sort of like, I mean, we for me, I would associate it to the Aboriginal art with the
Mm.
dotting.
Yes.
You do a lot of that, and
Yeah.
it's different but beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of people actually walk into my studio and go, they sort of go, "Oh, it's kind of Aboriginal, isn't it?" And um, I have definitely. It's like it hasn't ever been my intention for my art
No.
to be Aboriginal. It's just what comes through me. So um, when I create, it is very much creating from presence. So
Mm.
I don't like put down a canvas and go, oh yeah, I want it to look like that, and I want that color over there, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
how I work. I just totally am in the moment and in presence, and go with what comes.
yeah,
To the point of like this painting behind me here,
yeah.
really, really incredible piece. That one, it's all dots. Um, that took me 3 years because I call them movements. Whenever I do a particular action on a painting, I call it movements. So my paintings move through movements, and sometimes
Yeah.
I get to a point in the movement and then it stops.
Yeah.
Then it just has to be let alone for a while before it calls to have another movement.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and so,
Mm.
well, a lot of them that come through can be quite very Aboriginal, because I work with dots. I don't know why, I just do. I've just worked with dots. It's almost like it's they're points in time. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but others that come through, I've done very Mexican looking pieces, Native American, um, I've even like Balinese,
Yeah.
and the only reason I can sort of express that in words is because I sense the feeling that comes through as I work on them.
Yeah.
So it's not like I look at it and go, oh, that looks Balinese. It's like I work on it and I feel Balinese. I
Right.
feel Bali.
Yeah.
I feel the energy of what's coming through. Um, yeah, so it's really interesting, yeah, to
Yeah.
actually do them. Yeah.
And that there is I want to say true artist, but I mean that, you know, that's not really it. It's just you being open to receive what's sitting there, really, isn't it? Again,
It,
like,
yeah,
you know, tuning into the environment, really.
it really is because I
Yeah.
have never been to Bali.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to create a piece that has a Balinese feel and a look, but and for me to feel it coming through my being and then out into the artwork,
Yeah.
is really just opening up to what is wanting to be expressed. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
And
yeah.
and your granddaughter, isn't it? She's got a
Oh,
piece up
yeah,
on your wall there. I
it
just love that
does.
too. That was
Yeah,
beautiful. And so she's very creative, obviously. She like her grandmother.
yeah, she is. She is. She does love to create when, you know, when she's given the chance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that
And
must be lovely for you.
yeah, we've done some good creating, but probably not enough actually. I'd like to do a lot more creating with her. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But what I love about watching her create is, mm, maybe most children are like it. They're just so free, you
yeah,
know. I mean, I feel quite free, although I have started doing some other pieces that have got a little bit more than just dots in it. They're not mandala. Well, they kind of are mandalas, but they're not.
yeah,
Um, I could pull one off the wall actually and just show you.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And so here's a piece here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it still does have like the elements of dots in it because I still
Yeah.
do a lot of dots, but it's really just,
Gosh, that's gorgeous, Heidi.
yeah, I love this piece.
It's
Um,
absolutely gorgeous.
as adults, we do tend to think a bit more. You know, I have in this kind of style that I'm doing here, I've
Yeah.
noticed that I've started getting a little bit in the mind.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I have to keep reminding myself to just let it flow.
Yeah.
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 Um, yeah. So that's what
And
I loved, yeah, about her piece. Yeah.
yeah. So when did you like when did it sort of really kick in for you? Like the art, I mean. And that,
Um,
like, did you start with the dots always? Like that was something that
yeah,
just
yeah. So
absolutely came through, that was it?
it actually really kicked in for me in the year 2000 or the beginning of 2001. And that was when I got catapulted out of Nelson, where I was living and just finishing my study with the counselling, into the Coromandel,
Wow.
and because we had to leave that region, and I was a little bit depressed actually, yeah. And so a lot of things happened in that time. Like it was almost like it was, you know, it was definitely destined. And there was a bridge. There was a bridge, and that bridge was the rainbow. Okay, so just before I got catapulted out of Nelson, there was this huge storm, and you know, masses of rain, lightning, really, really black sky on one side, but the other side was completely blue. And I remembered looking out my back door at the blackness, and the blueness was out the front, and there was this most vivid rainbow.
Yeah.
And I instantly got the message in my head, like in words, your name is Rainbow. And
Oh,
I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. And I just ignored that.
yeah.
Um, I was creating a little bit back then, but really just for self, you know, just,
Yeah.
yeah, self-expression or gifts for people. And it wasn't with dots. And then I moved, then I got catapulted out,
Yeah.
and probably within the first 3 months of being in the Coromandel, exactly the same sky occurred, black as anything one side, bright rainbow, blue sky behind me.
Wow.
And I looked at it and went, wow. And then exactly the same words came in, your name is Rainbow. And I was like, oh gosh, that's again. And then it happened again. So it happened twice in 6 months when I moved to the new place and moved to the Coromandel. And finally I thought, okay, there's something in this. So I better call myself Rainbow. And it was in the window, probably between the first rainbow and the second rainbow, that I started painting in dots.
Yeah.
And that was when I started. I thought I can't just change my name to Rainbow. I'm Heidi. I can't just go, oh, everyone, I'm Rainbow now. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I tagged it on the end of my name and call myself Heidi Rainbow. So many people know me as that. And that's how I sign my artwork, as Heidi Rainbow.
Right.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So
Wow.
I
That
don't
was
know. I
that's
don't
pretty
even know.
incredible.
Oh, you were asking me where my art started. Yeah. So that's yeah. That was
So
kind of
that
the real beginning of Heidi Rainbow and bringing through the dots and the art. And actually, I'll just give you another little piece about
Mhm.
that painting. And that was, I had just moved there and was a bit depressed, and my brother had been overseas for a wee while, and he came back and he came to visit me, and he brought me 3 little pots of paint. And it was those 3 little pots of paint that got me started. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a sweet thing to do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thoughtful. He obviously knew. He knows you,
Mm,
obviously.
mm, mm.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that is, these things, don't they? They just happen. And, you know, I can understand the bit of depression because you would have felt like you were actually, I had to get out, I was forced to, those sorts
yeah.
of things would have been running. But
Mm,
actually, we were just meant to. It was a meant to, and something needed to happen for you to do that, to follow that.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
Really, really cool. And I love the way it just flows once you get into the right place, the right, I was dragged basically, kicking and
Mm,
screaming,
mm.
coming up from Bay of Plenty up into Northland.
Yeah.
I was only here 20 days and my whole world just blew wide open spiritually and, pathwise, everything just started laying itself out in front of me. And it was like, oh my goodness me,
Mm,
I'm really
yeah,
meant to be here. Yeah, it was
yeah,
unreal.
yeah,
So it's incredible. I love it. And then you learn to really live by those prompts,
yes,
follow them, know that
yeah,
yes, actually they're leading us into the best thing.
yes, yes,
And you just jump at them.
yeah.
I'm always gung ho.
And I can relate to that because I have just recently moved to Taranaki. So I've only been here for about 16 months. Um,
Okay.
After, I lived in the Coromandel for 22 years and I absolutely loved it. And obviously, that's where I learnt so much.
Yeah.
It's where my art was born, really like took off.
Yeah.
It's where I learnt the Hawaiian bodywork and the Kahuna Arts. And then my family were living here in Taranaki and grandchildren were being born and I was having to make regular trips back to visit them. And everyone kept joking, so when are you moving to Taranaki? And it was like, oh, I love it in the Coromandel, and I had things
Yeah.
going there. I was doing nice markets, and because the other thing I do is make jewelry as well. Um, and it actually took me, I had that inner prompt. I did have the inner prompt that I needed to move to New Plymouth, but I sat on that for a wee while because
Mm,
I just loved the Coromandel so much. But then
yeah.
I knew that this inner prompt was really making me uncomfortable in staying where I was. So I just,
Yeah.
yeah, so I had to listen to it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's I call the Coromandel the home of my spiritual home, or my, yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. But I feel like coming to Taranaki is really where I'm really coming to. I'm just starting to feel in the last month, actually, like, the whole last 20 odd years have been a big melting pot of so much learning, 25, 30 years. And now it's like I'm coming to Taranaki, and this is where I'm like bringing it all together and weaving it and bringing it out into how it needs to,
Express
be,
itself. Yeah.
express itself and be shared with others. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, it's an old homeland for me, not in this lifetime, but
Yeah.
through my Maori blood
Oh,
of
yes.
Taranaki, the Te Atiawa there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, I do, I think I've had many, definitely Aboriginal lifetimes. I've journeyed in this lifetime. I have had journeys with the Aborigines, with
Yeah.
and to Uluru, but not physically. They've all been spiritual journeys,
Yeah.
very intense ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's great, when you can connect it all up, when
Yeah.
because I know to some people it might sound a little woo-woo and all of that, but there's a soul knowing. You just know this is what you've done and this is who you've been and what your gifts are from those experiences too, like your dotting even.
Yeah.
Mm.
Everyone is so rich in
Yes. Gold.
knowledge,
It is.
really rich in knowledge and rich in just in diversity and gifts and things like that. And that, like in my little bio that you read out, one of those things that I really want everyone to remember is how freaking rich they are, how
Yes.
um, magnificent and diverse and shining and amazing and valuable that they are
Yeah.
to this world. Yeah.
For sure, Heidi, I know, and it saddens me. I say that, but I don't feel it. I can
Mm.
observe it
Yeah.
and recognize that when I'm seeing so many people that don't see that in themselves.
Yeah.
And I used to have so many people say to me, "Oh my God, if you could see what I could see, Manny." And I used to be so frustrated by that. It was like, "Oh my God, what is it?" But when you get there and
Yeah.
you find out about yourself and you get those gifts coming through. It's an amazing life.
It
You
is.
are
Yeah.
magnificent beings, and we have
Mm.
got the opportunity here to be, so much more than what we are, honestly. And it's exciting times, I
It
feel
is. I
now.
mean, I forget that, that's what I want everyone to remember, that too, or to at least see, have that window of a moment where they suddenly go, far out.
Yeah.
I'm amazing, or life's amazing. Because I do forget that as well. I
Yep,
know that I've got all this knowledge and wisdom and things, but I'm still human, and I still get
absolutely. Yeah.
stuck in the
And the
yeah,
story
stuck
in the
in the
mind. It's
story,
the
stuck in the
mind.
story, stuck in the
Yeah.
conditioning. Because there is a lot of conditioning out there that says that we ought to be a certain way. And
For sure.
when we don't fit in that little way, sometimes we can go, oh, maybe I'm just a bit weird. Um, which is exactly why I thought, damn it, I'm going to wear this rainbow on my head,
Yeah, gorgeous.
um, because it's really important that we can express any little thing that we need to, like the magic that we feel inside, or just express our voice and share our truth. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I,
for sure.
I feel like I want to share. I remember vividly the moment in time when I think I was about 20, I was 23, 24. And my dad had come to visit me because I'd not long been living in the South Island after leaving home and school and things.
Mhm.
And I just got a really clear vision when I was that age. And I remember voicing it to my dad and saying, I know exactly what I want to do, Dad. I want to facilitate people coming fully home to themselves and remembering all that they are.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and that was what started me on the journey. That was what prompted me to go and do counselling and psychotherapy, because my thinking was, first I need to learn how to communicate and get alongside and be with people,
Yeah.
and just how to help them. Yeah, so that was the start. And I didn't know how I was going to be facilitating that, but I just thought, no, I need to just go and find out how to be with people and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you what took you into that. And
Yeah.
do you sort of use that at all now? I suppose you
Um,
would in some way, really.
Definitely. It's not like I consciously,
No.
go, oh, I need to apply this mode here. Um, because actually, to be honest, it was all a bit mind, like I said, I was
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
mind person, and especially psychotherapy is very mind.
Hmm.
And the favorite modality for me was actually Māori counselling, which
Yeah.
is really just getting out on the land and having a chat and going with what you're feeling,
Yeah.
in a way. And again, like Kahuna, you know, feeling the environment and how
Mm,
it moves you.
yeah.
Uh, and the other one was psychodrama, which was like play, like getting in there and like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
like expressing it rather than
Yes.
talking about how it made you feel. Just get in there and freaking feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The
so
raw.
I guess I do use those in the ways that I express myself, and yeah,
Yeah.
just an ability to also get alongside people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Mm.
used to, people are, go into some sort of role play, okay, now we're going to role play. And it's like, oh, no, I hated it. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
don't put me in there. I don't want to do that.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, I learned to love it, but I
Yeah.
really didn't. I felt too vulnerable. And,
Mm.
you know, pressure that everyone was on, eyes on. It was like, no.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. It's a big thing. It's
Yeah.
huge to be able to get in there and do that. I
Yeah.
felt, you know,
Yeah. And yeah, and that kind of brings me to like expression, because I'm all about expression. I
yes,
really, I think it's important to be able to express, whether it's with sound or acting or creativity. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that the name of my business, Expressions of Infinity, as was actually born like 20 years ago,
Mm.
again after seizure activity, and realizing that actually what I was creating and what was coming through from infinity, where I just went, and now I'm bringing it back. So that's why I kind of called it Expressions of Infinity.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, it's just so like watching. I've been watching, as we do. Facebook's great. I love it. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
being able to journey with everyone,
Mm.
because I've watched you through your journey,
Yeah. Yeah.
sitting and watching and loving what's coming through
Oh,
and
beautiful.
how
Thank
you've really opened up into that, Heidi. And it's
you. Yeah.
just beautiful watching you
Mm.
really blossom in and allow this out,
Yeah.
your expression of who you really are and what you're passionate about, your passion, because it's
Mm.
you. And
And
it's just so lovely.
it is really lovely, and I do like, I consciously chose to, I suppose, create my own life.
Mm.
Yeah, which is, not everybody knows that you can actually consciously
I
choose
know.
to
Yeah.
create your own life.
Yes.
And part of that choosing was really, really helped by my Kahuna training.
Yeah.
And becoming aware of the fact that I am the center of my life, and I can create it how I want. Still things are going to happen in life, but you
Yeah.
can still create how you're going to be with those as well. And then also, what's really helped me I suppose, be more visible in the last little while is having a really good coach. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have, well, actually, there's a few people in the last few years that have really helped me to come out and express and be fully more myself.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Beverly Ifler is one of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was something about Bev when I first met her that was like, oh, and it was probably her Aboriginal, um,
Connections. Yeah.
connections. Yeah. And but she really unlocked a key in me to remember my voice. Uh,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the expression that I can bring through quite uniquely, or yeah, all of us do. And the other person was
Yeah.
Jenny Abdel Noor, who's, Jenny and Dan, and just being in phenomenal spaces with them and remembering that I've walked those spaces and can walk those spaces.
Yes.
And also Corey Taylor, I would really like to, she's really supported me and helped me and shown me how to well, yeah, I mean, I've been learning to embrace my the epilepsy and all that kind of stuff, but really embracing um and learning how to share myself,
Yes.
and help others share themselves. So, it really, really, um, don't underestimate the connection of just having someone that you can bounce your ideas and talk to. And
Yes.
'cause it's so inspiring,
Mm,
even just being able to have a conversation like with you right now,
mm.
um, is when you can talk like this so freely, you actually unlock things about yourself as you're hearing yourself. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, it's a great thing. Bev's actually coming out in March and she said, I'm going to catch up with
No.
Heidi. Need to
Yeah.
catch up. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited. Can't
I've
wait.
just actually, while we're on that subject, because I've got something that I'm really excited about that I just like, it's been brewing, it's been sitting in the background, and I've been going,
Oh,
oh, when am I gonna show it? When am I gonna share it? And I shared it yesterday actually online, but I've got this beautiful offering that I'm bringing to Taranaki, and it's 4 weeks of journeying as a circle of women. So I'm calling in women in particular for this gathering, and we're going to be exploring the elements, and how they move through the cycles of our life, but also our bodies, and how we relate with the elements and how the elements relate through us. And yeah, and it's I've called it together, or to it's I might show you, it might be back to front, I'm not sure, but it's
it's not. Oh, get her. Yes.
or together. So it's a
That's
weaving of
beautiful.
together, but also to get, to really get her. Um, and yeah, weaving the elements of self and sisterhood. And we're going to be doing embodiment exercises. We'll be doing some creating of artworks and some weaving of some jewelry, bringing in sound
Oh, wow.
and dance and sharing. And yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. So I'm really excited about that.
Is that a retreat type thing, like 4 days continuous, or is it
No,
4 weeks?
it would be nice to do it like that too, but it's actually 4 weeks at this
Okay.
stage. It's going to be one day a week,
Yeah.
for 4 weeks, yeah,
Lovely.
which will be really nice because it will just give time for it all to like settle and
Yeah,
bubble and
absolutely.
whatever it does. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just let it sink, and
yeah,
process, because there's always process. I mean, it is a process, isn't it? The journey.
yeah, yeah,
And that, just to let it integrate, that's great. Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Really cool.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So what
Beautiful.
else, Heidi? Is there anything else that you'd like to share, or
Well,
what, you know?
I would like to share that I also do like, so the Hawaiian bodywork, we've talked about the Kahuna bodywork or Kahuna learnings, but one of those and as the Hawaiian bodywork. So I do Hawaiian bodyworks, and they're really beautiful, potent, very they can be very transformational and very they can be a lot of things. It depends on what the individual body or the soul of the body is
Mhm.
calling at the time. But yeah, I'd just like to mention that I do body work, and I also teach ka'aleleo, or flying. So that's another kahuna. It's a navigation exercise. So this particular exercise is the one that we actually learn first before we do anything on the table with the body work.
Okay.
We need to get the footsteps and the arm movements right for the flying. And this is, like I said, a navigation exercise, and it actually it can widen perception, really clear the channels in the body of anything that's holding them back.
Yeah.
It's an exercise that's not to be underestimated, because it can, even just 5 minutes of it a day or 20 minutes a week or whatever will really help, I want to say, reset your navigation
Hmm.
and create the synchronicities or the patterns or the layout of your life that is for your highest good for you to move forward. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I love that one too. I've got
Yeah.
yeah. That actually, I'm planning to weave a little bit of that into the together
Yeah.
program for the month. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you travel around and run groups anywhere else, like workshops and things? Do you do that?
I haven't started doing that, but I just recently went back to the Coromandel, as I was invited onto a really beautiful retreat with Debbie Lim,
Hmm.
and to bodywork and just to help facilitate.
Yeah.
So that is something that's brewing, is actually holding space for a retreat space, to weave in a whole lot of those kinds of things that I offer.
Yeah.
Not yet doing the traveling, but it has always been an idea in my, in my kite
Yeah.
of possibilities,
Yeah.
to journey to places to offer classes on a regular
Beautiful.
basis, even if it's once a month, to go somewhere and do a
Yeah.
flying class and
Yeah.
martial arts class. Yeah.
Gorgeous. That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
It's because you can't teach some of these things online. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They are so much deeper in person, and there's that, that would
Mm.
be lovely.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did I did attempt to do a flying class online once, and it kind of worked okay. But the
Yeah.
real beauty about the flying class is, or the ka'aleleo, is that it is really all about unity. Uh, so, like a flock of birds will fly, and
Yeah.
they'll all turn at the same time, and then they'll all turn at the same time, and
Yeah.
or the ones that are getting tired at the front will go to the back, and the slipstream from the rest will
Yeah.
carry them along for a while. So when flying in groups, it really is like that. The energy, you lend to each other, or you rest for a while and fly on the back of someone else's energy for a while, or it's so
Mm.
being in circle or being in a group and doing that is way more potent. Plus, it
Yeah.
also fosters that individuality, but in unity. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that would be great. Think about whangara if you ever think about
I
travel.
will. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm. Can I just mention, I haven't even talked about my sound yet either. So
Yes, do that.
yeah.
Yes.
So really, I've just remembered my sound in the last 3 years, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Um, and I remembered that I used to make a lot of sound as a child, and probably speak, quite light language, or gobbledygook, as my parents would probably call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, as a child, but just in the last 3 years, I really started to embody it and own it again, and really let it land and really let it express.
Yes.
Um, and so I do offer online sound journeys, which are really amazing. So they're uh, it's very intuitively guided, so I just actually follow spirit, and this is where that facility to just journey into the realms is really amazing, because it blows me away where we go
Mhm.
with individuals. And so I take individuals on journeys, and they will receive gifts or just whatever their body is needing at the time. And I do that with my voice, with sacred instruments like crystal bowls and flute and drum and
Yeah.
rattle things, and light language. So that's one really amazing. That's I love the sound, and I also know, I'll be really honest here, that I'm actually not using my sound to its fullest capacity, because I do know that my sound can really affect things if I allow myself to go to the capacity that I can.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Like change frequencies, well, definitely change frequencies in the body. But if you've got an illness or something going on in the body, it's really, really possible to change that
Yeah.
just with sound. And I have played with that on my own body,
Yes.
and it's been amazing. Yeah.
I went online. I find it hard sometimes on YouTube. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but there's not a lot of guided meditation type things or like that sound. There's a few people doing sound bowl stuff, but I don't know. I've tuned into some and it just didn't resonate. So, park back out again and go back into
Yeah.
something else. There is one that I have been going into quite sort of not regularly, but I feel it. And
Mm.
this one night, I was just on my couch and I had it on, and it's YouTube, and I became the frequency. Like my actual body disappeared in the sense of the physical reality, and
Mm.
I was actually the waves of frequency.
Wow, yeah.
My body was.
Yeah.
It was the first time ever that had ever happened. And oh my gosh. And I saw these things leaving my body. I had a bit of pain in one of my left thigh, and it was like I could see this opened and this stuff was just coming out of it, energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Sensor energy
Wow.
was moving. It
Yeah.
was just really incredible.
Yeah.
And I'd never, like I say, felt like that before with it. So yeah,
And
it's
that
great.
takes me back to your leaky pipe.
Yeah.
Um, and how they use the vibration or the frequency to travel through the pipe to find where it was blocked.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Where the
yeah, that
distortion was. Yeah.
yeah, that fascinated me, because that is exactly what frequency does. It will travel through the cells,
Yes.
and move out. Yeah, what is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I know. It's such a cool thing.
Yes.
So yeah, the right frequencies in the right places, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and again, Bev, she's great for that sort of thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple of or one actually. I think I've only really listened to
Yeah.
one where
Yeah.
you did a live, just a little one on a live once, and yeah, very cool, Heidi. Very good.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Resonated with me anyway.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot about myself at the moment through human design,
Yeah.
and I've discovered that I know that the sound journeys I do are way more potent one-on-one than in a group. Although, having said that, I did do a really powerful one on this retreat I just went on. Um, so I'm still learning how to I'm still learning how to drive myself, how to operate
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I get that too. I know we all
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Like, it's a new creation of us now. You know,
yeah,
we're coming through with so many new things, and different parts of ourselves are coming forward.
yes,
And
yeah.
it is like that. It's all of us learning how to drive the new vehicle.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is really. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. But yeah, anyway, those, yeah, the one-on-ones are, I love doing them. They're really amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. No, beautiful stuff. Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not even going to say keep doing what you're doing because it's great for you. I mean, you know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're just going to
I
keep doing
would.
anyway.
Yeah.
But
Who
so
knows?
so lovely, and like I said, it's been really wonderful watching you blossoming, like really opening up and allowing yourself to be truly
Mm.
who you are, and no
Yeah.
holds barred. You're just out there. It's very inspiring.
Oh,
It's
thank
great.
you. Thank
Mm,
you. Yeah. Oh, well,
very
that's, yeah. And and I am here to help others do that too. Yeah. To
yeah,
really, yeah, I've kind of led myself, but I've also led myself to the people that will help lead me, or help me open
yes,
myself up more.
yeah,
And that's really valuable that
is
we help each other to
totally that. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's very important. And we can't do it all on our own, you know. We can
No.
go so far and then we need somebody to just assist and hold space,
Yeah.
and then we can move on again with ourselves and
Yeah.
ourselves, you know. But yeah, no, it's great to have those that come forward, and they do turn up at the right time, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Everything is in perfect alignment.
It is, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So I'm so
Oh,
grateful for
Heidi.
this chat. Beautiful
Oh,
chat.
been
Yeah.
lovely to have you on and have a chat too.
Mm.
And I've been loving these because, like I say, we watch, people's journeys forever on Facebook and in life itself. But this, we quite often don't even get the opportunity to actually have a conversation.
Mm.
Whereas with this is what I'm loving. I'm getting to know people on a deeper level,
Yeah.
those that have been around me for many years, so
Yeah. I
it's
know. Yeah.
really lovely.
It's like
Mm,
we're all opening, really, aren't we? We're all, it's this time is really amazing. Yeah. We
it
can
is.
open and blossom and see each other.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, very
yeah.
much so.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous stuff, Heidi. Will you take great, great care of yourself, of
Yes,
course,
you
and
too.
yes,
Yeah.
and yeah, enjoy your family. And it's lovely that you've moved down there to them because
Mm.
it's an important time for us to be around our grandchildren, our children, but our
Yeah.
grandchildren.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
really important time.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yes, I decided, we really want to make memories and have an impression and,
Yeah,
um, teach them, it was really important for me. I wanted to teach my grandchildren, the elements of nature and to really appreciate life, not
yeah.
just the consumerism and the conditioning, just like
Yes,
life.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
so important.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good on
Oh,
you.
thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, and much, much love.
Yes.
Mwah.
Much, much love. Love to everyone. Thank you for watching, whoever watches. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated.
Mm, beautiful.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mandy.
And welcome.